Hey there, everyone. Ninjas, my ninja family. So yesterday I did a little video on, what to do when you really have like no time or energy to cook, like ever. And I got a question from Judy. Judy Schwan asks, or she actually, it was a request. How about a list of common sense things to make and freeze for 2 weeks of dinners? I could really use that, right? I think we could all use that. So I made a little list, and if you guys are interested, what I can do is I can actually come up with a really big list, like a checklist, and then I can add it to the vault. And if that's something you guys are interested in, then leave a comment below, and I'll work on it, and then I'll post it here. So the stuff that I came up with that are really easy make-ahead dinners, like spaghetti sauce, which is our go-to because you just make a huge pot of it and freeze it, and I mean then you make pasta. Pasta takes like no time at all. And risotto is another good one. Risotto is great as well as like other rice dishes. Risotto is more of like maybe a weekend project, but if you make a ton of it at once, it takes the same amount of work as like one night's worth of risotto, and you can just freeze it, and it freezes really well. Bags of brown rice. This is another one. Like brown rice takes forever to cook, even in a rice cooker. It's really annoying, but it's also better for you than white rice, right? So if you want to make loads of brown rice or even white rice, like make a huge pot of it all at once and freeze them in little bags. That way, like you can literally just grab a bag out of the freezer and like microwave it or cook it really quickly in a pot to defrost it and heat it up, and instant grains, healthy grains, which is awesome. Throw an egg on there, throw some greens in there, and you've got dinner. Um, Cooked chicken breasts or steak, and this is another really good go-to. Like if you're making, chicken breast, either whole chicken breast or sliced chicken breast, or in chunks, or beef, any kind of beef, ground beef, like I mentioned yesterday, just like make 4 times as much, and then freeze the leftovers. And again, then you're like, oh, it's Thursday at 7:30, and I have no idea what the hell we're gonna eat tonight. I've got chicken breasts in the freezer. Pull them out, like defrost them really fast. Slice them up, throw them over a salad, throw them over rice, throw them over anything. And it's a nice, healthy, quick, and easy dinner for cheap. Chili is another good one. Chili and pretty much any stew, right? Like beef stew, chicken stew, really thick soups, right? Like, or actually any soup. Chicken soup is another great thing to make ahead and freeze. Any kind of soup that I can think of, as long as you don't put cornstarch in it. Cornstarch as a thickener does weird things in the freezer. So I don't know if you've ever frozen something with cornstarch, but like, I once put cornstarch in soup because I didn't have anything else to thicken it at that moment, and I froze it. And then I pulled it out of the freezer like a month later, and I defrosted it. It was completely defrosted because it had been sitting out for like 2 hours, and I inverted the container it was in, and it was literally like a Jello mold of soup. And it was like squared, squishy, spongy texture, and it was because of the cornstarch. Cornstarch does not like to freeze, so it's one thing to keep in mind. But like chilies, stews, soups, anything along those lines. Like one of my personal favorite is oxtail soup, or it's actually a stew because it's very thick. And actually, like I freeze that stuff in like containers, and then I'll like make some quinoa really quickly and mix it into the stew, and it's delicious. The quinoa adds like a nutty like flavor to it, and then the texture of the quinoa, that kind of like poppy grain texture, is really good. Beans are another good one, and I just did this week. I made a huge pot of beans, and I froze it in like 4 little containers so that we have lunch or we have dinner for different nights of the week. A big thing that we use that for is we make eggs and toast, and then like I'll put the beans on top of the eggs and toast, so it kind of makes it more substantial, and you're getting more nutrients. And sometimes I'll throw some sautéed greens on there too. Lasagna is a good one. Like lasagna is kind of a project, right? Like nobody can't really throw a lasagna together. I mean, you can if you're like super awesome like that. But I mean, if you're making a lasagna, make that a weekend project, and then maybe make 2 of them. And then you can take like the big 9 by 13 like lasagna pan, and then like cut it into quarters, and then freeze those in big chunks, right? And then you've got like 2 or 3 people's worth of dinner there, right? Even if you make like, 2 big things of lasagna and you have a big family, 4 or 5 people, if you freeze those in halves of the 9 by 13 inch pan, like if you make 2 lasagnas, that's 4 dinners right there, which is pretty awesome. And casseroles, casseroles are good as long as they don't have cheese in them. Casseroles themselves like to be frozen. Cheese does not like to be frozen. It tends to break the emulsion, and then when you reheat it, you agitate what is already like an unstable emulsion by heating it really quickly, and then it just breaks, and you end up with like cheese clumps and weird liquid that you don't know where it came from, and it's from the cheese. The fat will separate and do all sorts of weird things. Cheese does not like to freeze, and cheese particularly does not like to reheat. So whatever you're making ahead, make sure that if you're adding cheese to it, add it like after you've reheated it, and add it like right before you serve it, because if you freeze cheese, it gives you the finger. If you try to defrost cheese, it'll give you two middle fingers, which is pretty funny. Hey Steve, what's up? What? And that's it. I made my little list here really quick. But if you guys are interested in more make ahead ideas, I can make actually like a nice big list. I can kind of separate them by like vegetarian and meat based options, and more like like heartier options versus lighter options. So if that's something that you're interested in, leave a comment below and tell me that you would like that, and then I'll put it together. Anyways, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.